All right, we don't have any cattail or anything like that around us. We looked around, couldn't really see any fiber, but I'm gonna use this juniper bark here. It's quite fibrous. We'll use this and slice it up with our knives. I think that'll work. I've never used this is fiber in this way before. This is juniper bark. I've never made pine pitch either, but today's a great day to try. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to shred this and expose the fibers, and then put that, and then cut it up so that they're smaller and use them in the pine pitch. And that'll give it some flexibility and robustness for whatever you want to glue with it. I don't think we don't have any specific task we need for it yet, but maybe we'll use it later. So here's some of the fiber pulled out of that bark there. I'm just going to keep bending these, pulling it apart, getting the fibers out. Got this stuff fluffed up quite a bit. I've got a lot of shredded stuff down here at the bottom. This is pretty good. I think this right here is really what I'm going for. So I could just continue to do this and kind of pull it apart, but I want to try giving it a couple of slices with my knife. We'll see how well that works. Cut it up like it's lettuce or something like that. Try to get these fibers to be quite small. I don't want them tiny because they need to be long enough to actually have a binding effect. Yeah, going pretty good. A lot of these I think are still quite too long, and I definitely don't want to get these ones I haven't shredded in there. Alright, I'm just going to keep shredding these up into smaller and smaller pieces now that I've got the fibers pulled apart. I'll get back to you. Oh yeah. Here we go. Here's some brunch for Penny. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She likes that.
Don't let her lick that lid. She might cut herself.
This stuff is not very appetizing, but she frickin' loves it. Chop it up a bit so she can actually chew on it. There you go.
Good girl.
Yeah.
She tried to eat it all at once.
This is quite...
Is that wood or is that all?
I don't know. If there is wood, we can kind of filter it out a little bit, I think. We're just trying to knock off these big globs.
Oh, these come off very nicely.
Yeah, these big ones do. Cool. Let's grab a few more of those.
I don't see any more of the big ones.
Make some practice making pine pitch. This is a dog food can we got here from Penny, so it doesn't matter if we ruin it.
Come on.
That guy's really in there. You can do it. Yeah, use both. Yeah, use the can to pry it. Ooh, you're getting it.
It's really sticky. I think that's why it's not coming.
That's all right. Keep going. That's great stuff right there. Ooh.
Oh, can you pick that up? Filled right there. You see it?
Yeah, I got it.
Sorry. Oh, the underside is really sticky.
Found it. Okay, we've got our can here. It's probably, I'd say about halfway full. I mean, it looks more than that, but it's got a lot of empty space in there. About halfway full with pine pitch, or pine sap here. I'm gonna put it, ooh, that's really hot, perfect. Ooh. So I don't want it in a fire, apparently. You don't want it to get super hot because it can light on fire. So you want to get it in coals where it'll melt. You could already hear that sizzling. That's actually probably some of the water left from the dog food, but that thing's getting nice and hot. I'll let that melt, and I probably need to process some of this charcoal that's in the fire here to add to it as well. I'm gonna pull out some of this charcoal here. This is old charcoal. I'm not sure if that's gonna make a difference. It's not from the fire currently going. I'm just gonna smash it. Hopefully these are all charred all the way through. Yeah, they're looking pretty done. We're just gonna smash these up, try to powderize it, and we'll put that powder into that pine sap. All right, I was using this stick here that we used to gather it to kind of smash it, but it wasn't working very good. Kind of slow. This rock does really well. It smashes it, and then I can kind of grind it too to powderize it. Much better. All right, here's a shot of inside the can. You can see it's boiling pretty good. It's got the pretty thick consistency. Stirred it around a little bit with this. There's still some big chunks in there that need to be taken care of, but this stuff burns good. I dripped a little bit of it onto this fire stuff over here. And it tried really hard to light itself up. That stuff's burning good. All right, hope you can see here, I moved some of my coals closer to it, and it's starting to bubble a lot more. Hopefully that gets those chunks in the middle out, gets them nice and melted. It could be that those are like wood or something that's stuck in there, so we'll give it a little bit longer, but hopefully getting it this hot isn't going to be an issue, but it's bubbling quite vigorously now. All right, we're about topped out on these bubbles here. There's definitely a stick or something in here. Could feel a really hard piece. Let me see if I can find it again. There we go. Oop. It's hard to get out with only one stick. Need a second stick. There we go. Put that over there. I'm sure it'll light up by itself in a few minutes. This stuff is really sticky. Had some of it dry off or cool down, and it was nice. Really happy with it so far. Going good. All right, I've moved my coals back. This is still super hot. Got to keep stirring it to keep it from boiling over. It seems like maybe about half of a can is about the max amount you want to fill up, just for how much it boils. I'm going to start adding in some of these ashes here. Crushed up charcoal. Gonna start to mix that in. And this is gonna give it that classic black color. I'm really not sure what the charcoal's for, but apparently it's necessary. So I'm gonna do it. Definitely be nice having a bit of a larger spoon. I'm just using kind of a shaped stick to put these ashes in. Slowly getting that black color. Usually what I see people do is it ends up looking like tar, so that's what I'm going for. All right, well, I accidentally spilled some over here. Got the wrapper from the dog food can there. I'm gonna blow on it a little bit. Right, I spilled a little bit on the side of that, and that's burning up. All right, I think that stuff is caught. So that's kind of what you would get if you were going for like a torch. You'd get kind of this style of burning, and that's scary stuff. I mean, to use this as a torch, you'd have to stabilize it somehow so it's not going to spill on you, because if you get that flaming stuff on your skin, no way, that'd kill you.
Severe burns.
Yeah, really bad.
Hospitalization.
Yeah, it's like molten plastic. Fiery molten plastic. It's scary stuff. But let's go over to our can over here. Got about a quarter of a can left inside of here. Now I need to add the fiber to it. You know what? I'm going to move this can out of the smoke here. We're going to add the fiber to it. All right, so if I didn't add this fiber to it, I think this stuff would pretty much end up like a glass. But we don't want that. I want it to be a sort of glue and a binder. So I'm going to add these fibers here, and I think that might have been, that's probably more than enough right there. It's getting really thick in here. Cool part about this stuff is when it cools down, supposedly you can just warm it back up and use it again. So you can roll it into a ball and store it once it cools down a bit. And then keep that somewhere and then burn it as needed later. Warm it up on the end of a stick or something like that. It's not quite what I wanted. It's the I tried to grab the finest fibers I could, and they're still not quite fine enough. So this bark as a fiber might not be the best, but I think it'll work well enough. I'm gonna let this cool down. We'll see if we can solidify some of it on the end of a stick. So I've let this cool down. I can actually touch the can now, but it's quite a bit thicker. It's almost hard to get it to come out of this can here, and of course the wind changed directions. Let me see if I can get a chunk of this stuff out. See if we can get it formed onto a stick for storage. See if I can touch it. I've seen a lot of people touch this stuff. Oh yeah, that doesn't stick to my fingers at all. It's warm. It kind of feels like taffy. If you've ever made taffy before, that's what this feels like. Cool. Little ball of pine pitch. Cool. Let me get some more out of there. Oh. Want it to roll away. This is the first time I've ever made pine pitch, and it actually turned out pretty good. Normally my first tries don't really work out, but this is working out all right. I mean, the fiber's not quite right, but I don't really have such a fine fiber around here. I mean, I did see some rabbit droppings around, and maybe I could have collected that and used that, but I don't know. Pretty hard to get the last of the stuff at the bottom here. It's really sticking to the can. Just as a side note, one of my commenters mentioned that you shouldn't cook in these things. Something you're going to eat. Turns out they're right. I didn't know that. I was warming up some soup in one of my last bug outs. So that's good to know. There's still quite a bit. I mean, there's probably one more of these in here, but I just can't get it out. I might try warming it up a bit. Try again in a minute. Here is our pine pitch. It's glassy, taffy-like. It's got fibers going through it, a couple of rocks and stuff stuck on it from sitting on the ground. But this stuff's good for torch, sealing things that have got a leak. I mean, I don't know how well it would work on a polymer, but you could try, like if you had your inflatable mattress break, maybe you could try to use this to seal it. I don't know. Never tried that myself, but that's an idea. But like a canvas tarp, I bet you this would work really well to seal up a canvas tarp if you couldn't stitch it for some reason. Awesome. Alright, so warming it back up, that was the trick. This stuff's coming off nice and easy again. And a big glob. Put it onto existing pine pitch here. Try to clear off this rock a bit so I don't get so much junk on my pine pitch here. I saw one of my favorite YouTubers, Survival Lily. She did a video and she tapped a birch tree and then resealed it with pine pitch to protect it, which is awesome. But she just tapped it and got some birch sap there. This is actually, I can touch it just barely. You got to be careful. Really don't want to get burned. There we go. About double the size of this thing now. All right, there we go. Whole ton more of this stuff. Probably skewer it on that stick. Use that to store it. Success. First try. Nice.